कीर्तन गानन कर्ण परौ प्रेमामृता वनिधि वीर धीर जन प्रिय कृष्ण कीर्तन गान नर्तन प्रभु प्रेमामृतां वनिधि वीर वीर जन प्रिय प्रिय करो पूजित चैतन्य कृपा भरौ भुवि भुव भारा वहन तारकौ वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्री जीव गोपालकौ वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्री जीव गोपालकौ कृष्ण कीर्तन गान कीर्तन गान नर्तन परम प्रेम मृतां वीर वीर जन प्रिय प्रिय करो निर्माण पूजितम् चैतन्य कृपा भरौ श्री चैतन्य कृपा भरौ भुवि भुव भाराव अंतरकौ वंदे रूप सनातन रघुजुगौ श्री जीव गोपालकौ विचारणैकनिपुणौ सद्धर्म संस्थापकौ लोकानां हितकारिणं त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरण करो धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर विचारणैकनिपुना तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर श्री चैतन्य कृपा बरौ लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणाकर कृष्ण को गुमला शाम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवदीप धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, द्वारका धाम की जय, स्वामी भक्तवृंद की जय, और ग्लोरी टू द और ग्लोरी टू द थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please, can you unmute yourself? You're welcome to our platform, Prabhu. You are still muted, Prabhu. Yeah, you're welcome, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Nice to. We're very, very fortunate to have your darshan here. You know, you represent the Vrindavan, and without coming to Vrindavan, we can get your darshan free of charge. Thanks to technology, and we're very happy to have you. So in a short while, Prabhuji, many newcomers will be coming on the platform. So that's why I send you a private message so that we can, give the message in a way that they can understand. And then whenever they're asking their question, you should understand the platform which they are coming from.
Everyone speaks English?
Yes. English is our official language, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhu. You're welcome, Prabhu. So if you want to say, you want to sing, or you want to start reading now, as you are continue, they will be coming in short while.
Well, what do you normally do?
After we play Prabhupada Jaya Radha Madhava, and then you can say the Magalancharan, and then you can start the discussion. Meanwhile, while you are doing all this, all our audience will come in.
Okay.
Yes.
I can sing some Jaya Radha Madhava, you say?
Yes, if you feel like, yeah, Prabhu.
Okay. Sorry about that. Wasn't ready. The Jaya Radha Madhava is always, Prabhupada said it's a perfect picture of Vrindavan, Jaya Radha Madhava.
Yes, Prabhu.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari
Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Gopi Janavaba Girivaradhari
Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana
Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana
Jamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari.
It's a beautiful song that Srila Prabhupada often remarked that it is like a picture to the spiritual world. Vrindavan, the gopis, Jamuna, Yashoda. So we can get started. It was just a one-time chanting, if you like.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 11, text number 3. Do I just read the Sanskrit on my own? It's okay?
Yes, Prabhu, yes. Because if we have to allow people, then the echo will be disturbing.
No problem. Tam upashrutya ninadang jagad bhaya bhayavaham pratyud yuyu praja sarva bratre darshana lalasa. The word for word meaning, oh yeah. Tam, that, upashrutya, having overheard, ninadam, sound, jagat bhaya, the fear of material existence, bhaya avaham, the threatening principle, prati, towards, udayayu, rapidly proceeded, praja, the citizens, sarva, all, bratre, the protector, darshana, audience, lalasa, having so desired. Translation by His Divine Grace, Abhaya Charanara Vinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada's name, Abhaya Charanara Vinda, means one who is fearless. So this verse has that fear factor. Translation: the citizens of Dwaraka, having heard that sound which threatens fear personified in the material world, began to run towards him fast, just to have a long desired audience with the Lord, who is the protector of all devotees. This is Srila Prabhupada's purport. And these purports are based on the translations of all the great teachers and acharyas. Prabhupada, even though the verse is very clear, Prabhupada gives us a more elaboration so we have a deeper understanding. As already explained, the citizens of Dwaraka who lived at the time of Lord Krishna's presence, there were all liberated souls who descended there along with the Lord as entourage. All were very anxious to have an audience with the Lord, although because of spiritual contact, they were never separated from the Lord. Just as the gopis at Vrindavan used to think of Krishna while he was away from the village for cow herding engagements, the citizens of Dwaraka were all immersed in thought of the Lord while he was away from Dwaraka to attend the battle of Kurukshetra. Some distinguished fiction writer in Bengal concluded that the Krishna of Vrindavan and of Mathura and that of Dwaraka were different personalities. Historically, there's no truth in this conclusion that the Krishna of Kurukshetra and the Krishna of Dwaraka are one and the same personality. The citizens of Dwaraka were thus in a state of melancholy due to the Lord's absence from the transcendental city, as much as we are put in a state of melancholy at night because of the absence of the sun. The sound heralded by Lord Krishna was something like the heralding of the sunrise in the morning. So all the citizens of Dwaraka awoke from a state of slumber because of the sunrise of Krishna, and they all hastened towards him just to have an audience. The devotees of the Lord know no one else as protector. This sound of the Lord is identical with the Lord, as we have tried to explain by the non-dual position of the Lord. The material existence of our present status is full of fear. Out of the 4 problems of material existence, namely food problem, the shelter problem, the fear problem, and the mating problem, the fear problem gives us more trouble than the others. We are always fearful due to our ignorance of the next problem. The whole material existence is full of problems, and thus the fear problem is always prominent. This is due to our association with the illusory energy of the Lord, known as Maya, or external energy. Yet all fear is vanished as soon as there's the sound of the Lord, represented by his holy name, as it was sounded by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the following 16 words: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We can take advantage of these sounds and be free from all threatening problems of material existence. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, but my spiritual master is opening my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of this Kali Yuga, by the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Deshatarane. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So I'm very happy to be able to address all of you here. Sri Vrindavan is a very special place, and Srila Prabhupada has very magnificently brought us this knowledge of Krishna, of the spiritual world, of this material world, the problems that exist in this world of birth, old age, disease, and death. It may seem that no matter what kind of birth we take in this world, as human beings, we're naturally inquisitive to know what is the purpose of life, what is the goal of life. But the animals, they don't have this ability to inquire. Any person with intelligence can understand that this arrangement of the universe, all the planets, all the different materials which are required in order for the planets to, the sun shine, the moon shine, everything is orbiting and spinning around. And we see ourselves on this little planet as individual beings. And Prabhupada, especially life comes from life, that when some living entity leaves the body, it's just a lump of matter. Doesn't matter whether it's a plant, an animal, a human being, or a demigod, a godly person. So in all the scriptures, it talks about the spiritual kingdom, and that just like we have laws which govern the police forces there, and there's laws which govern so that people will abide by the rules and regulations and not be criminals. So God, he is the giver of religion, Dharma tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam, that the Supreme Lord is described that originally we all come from the spiritual kingdom, the spiritual world. If that's the case, then what are we doing in this material world? Specifically in this verse, it was describing how Krishna, after he appeared in this world and performed his pastimes, that we say, that he comes for the purpose of reestablishing religious principles. Whenever God appears, and he has many, many incarnations, but we read from the Bhagavatam or the Vedic literatures, Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago in order to reestablish religious principles. He told Arjuna, I spoke this knowledge to the sun god many, many millions of years ago. Arjuna was astonished. How is that possible? Krishna says, we've all existed in the past, we're existing now, we continue to exist in the future. We're eternal, ever existing, undying. We are primeval, we're not slain when the body is slain. So temporarily, we appear in this world with a particular mother and father, in a particular nation or society, and everyone is looking for happiness, how to mitigate the sufferings. So everyone works very, very hard to take care of family, take care, have a nice place to live, have good food to eat, have nice possessions for comfort. But ultimately, when one realizes that everything in this world is temporary, and if we are eternal beyond this body, because when the soul leaves the body is motionless. There's no meaning, really. You say, oh, my friend is gone and dead. No, he's lying on the floor. He's there. No, he's left. He left that body. Just like you take that battery out of the clock stops ticking. So that spirit soul, we are all part of God. Just like the sunshine has so much brilliance, and the sun particles are molecular, small little sunshine particles emanating from the sun. So God, he's vibrant. In the spiritual world is lit by his effulgence, by his brilliance. And even this material world, when you see the sky, it's bluish. It's glowing from God's radiance, the sunshine, like the eye of the Lord. These are not just, analogies. Actually, the Lord is present everywhere, not only throughout the universe, but in every atom, and he's in everyone's heart. Naturally, the mind has doubts. People say, well, how do you know? How do you know? But we have to accept some authority. You go to school, you accept some authority based on the teacher's, authenticity or the scientist's conclusion, or some sort of guidance is there. But here in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, Tad vidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upatekshanti te jnanam jnanas tatpadarshana. If we want to learn the truth, we have to approach a bona fide spiritual master. And the spiritual master is one who's representing Krishna, who is repeating the words of Krishna. It's not that anybody who has a charismatic smile or a big beard or thinking themselves to be in flowing robes, a great Jagat Guru, but there is actually proof in the scripture, which is thousands and thousands of years old. Krishna not only appeared 5,000 years ago, but 1,000,000 years ago, he appeared. Billions of years ago, he appeared. So this creation has been around for a very long time. And the modern world is misdirected because they don't have proper guidance or understanding as to how to adjust society in such a way that people can live harmoniously with God consciousness. Because people are enticed to go to factories and mills and work instead of working the land, nature, agriculture, farming, having a simple lifestyle. They're coming to the factories to manufacture nuts and bolts and all these kind of things. Sorry about that.
It's all right, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
But the lifestyle in Vrindavan, as described by Srila Prabhupada, that when Krishna and Balarama were here in Vrindavan, it describes the beauty of the Jamuna River being transparent, clear, with birds and peacocks and parrots and beautiful flowers. The aroma and the sounds are all very, very enticing. And the spiritual world in Goloka Vrindavan, spiritual kingdom, this is a replica. Krishna personally comes to attract us, to bring us back to the spiritual kingdom. It's not that Krishna just is made up by some people's imagination, that he's coming by people's ideas of some historical stories. There's actually proof of the existence of the Supreme Lord. And he appeared in Mathura, Sri Vrindavan. He spent his youth there. But just like the inhabitants of Dwarka, in his later years, he was going back to Dwarka after leaving them. They felt great separation from the Lord. Just in the same way that when the night comes, we're feeling the separation from the sunshine. It's all darkness. But when the sun rises in the morning, we can see and everything is animated. So the Lord gives us this vision of how to understand the purpose and goal of life in our heart. Sarvasya chaham hridisanavisto mata smriti jnanam apohanam cha. That's Sanskrit. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, I am sitting in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. And this knowledge of Krishna has been forgotten by everyone in this world. Otherwise, how we can be conditioned to think that, I'm European, or I'm American, or I'm Indian, I'm African, I'm white, I'm black, I'm Christian, I'm Jewish, I'm Hindu, Muslim. This is my nation, my community, my country, my possessions. Everything belongs to the Supreme Lord. Bhoktarang jagatapasang sarva loka maheshwaram. That means God is the proprietor of everything. Everything is emanating from God. He is the enjoyer of all sacrifices, and he's a friend of everyone. So Krishna is very personal. It's a personal God. When Srila Prabhupada was told, it might be better to name the society International Society for God Consciousness, Prabhupada said, no, it's more International Society for Krishna Consciousness, because Krishna means the most attractive, the all-attractive one. So everyone is looking for that happiness in the form of a man is looking for a woman, woman is looking for a man. We want comfort in the family, and in society, we want reputation, we want people to appreciate our accomplishments, or look at my nice family, look at all my achievements in life. And that may be a way of trying to pursue some happiness, but ultimately everything in this world, it goes from birth, old age, disease, and death. But Krishna was showing Arjuna that simply by thinking of me, you'll always be with me. Like the gopis in Vrindavan, very famous, Krishna and the love between Yashoda and Nanda and Krishna and the gopis and gopas. How Krishna, when he left Vrindavan, all the gopis were feeling great separation and pain. But his bhava, by thinking of Krishna, by chanting the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. These names, this sound vibration helps one to remember Krishna and to be with Krishna. It takes some understanding, maybe just to clear the mind, but Goloker Premadan Harinam Sankirtan. This treasure of this great mantra comes from the spiritual world. And we may have heard that in all religious organizations, there's sacrifices and different prayers and different performances of religious activities which are necessary for civilized human beings to perform. We see like in Vrindavan, there's so many temples and so much worship going on. There's even temples of Lord Shiva and Katyayani. But in Vrindavan, even if the demigods our worship ultimately is meant for worshiping Krishna. Because Krishna, God, Narayan, Vishnu, Krishna, same supreme person, only he can deliver us from this ocean of birth and death. And that has to be our ultimate goal, because this flickering temporary life, if we don't believe, or we think, I'm okay, I'm all right, I just want to live my life and be left alone, that may be, but old age, disease, and death will take one. And there's actions and reactions. In Christianity, they say, as you sow, so you shall reap. And young vapi smaram bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram. Whatever state of mind we have at the time of death, that state will attain without fail. And that all comes about by our desires, by our activities, even the movements of our hands and legs and eyes. We can't take a step without the Lord allowing it. And we may think, well, why does the Lord allow people to do bad things? Because we have independence. The Lord is supremely independent. Just like we don't force someone to love us. You have to, it's an exchange. So Krishna, he never is tired of loving the Father, he's the father of every, ahang bija pradapita. I am the seed-giving father of all life, of everything. This body belongs to Krishna. Who gave the ingredients for the bones, the blood, the veins? And who was the artist who made all the fingers and ears and eyes and nose and the whole structure, the legs to be able to walk and the whole body to function by eating and other various biological activities necessary for the functioning of the body. So Krishna is very much present, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda are Krishna and Balaram. Krishna and Balaram temple here in Vrindavan was established, and Gaur Nitai, Chaitanya Nityananda, appeared 500 years ago, because in this age, Kali, this is the dark age, there's the golden age, Satya Yuga, people would live a very long life and they were all very religious. Then Treta Yuga, things deteriorated slightly and the lifespan was less. In Dwapara Yuga, people would still live 1,000 years and have various other, there's different types of performances of religious activities. In this age, people may live 100 years, but this age is called the Iron Age, the age of Kali. Kali Kalir Dharma Krishna Nam Sankirtan. It's said that in this age of Kali Yuga, that the best process for God realization and self-realization, or being with Krishna always, is to call out Krishna's holy name. Just like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prakashananda Saraswati, he had many, many disciples. This was in India, Bengal, and they were criticizing the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you're a sannyasi. You come from a good order of life. As a sannyasi, you should simply be performing sacrifice and reading scripture. What are you doing, singing and dancing? It almost like a sentimentalist. But the Lord revealed to him philosophically that simply by having faith in the spiritual master and Krishna, yasya deve para bhakti yata deve tata guru tasyaite katita hyarta prakashante mahatmana, that one awakens all the good qualities. When we see someone is well behaved, or somebody's very first class, you say he's a first class person, well mannered, he's got compassion, he has love, tolerance, is peaceful. All these godly qualities are manifest in God to the fullest extent. And all of us are tiny, tiny little sample droplings of Krishna, of God. And we all have all the good qualities. But in contact with this material world, with this world of struggling, and there's actually a great amount of suffering going on. We can see all over the world, people are suffering, not only pandemic, but also, you know, man against man, nation against nation. And doesn't matter what sort of political arrangement one makes or what sort of philosophical explanation or scientific explanation, ultimately, until one surrenders to the Lord is present and he is hearing our prayers. And it's not that we're just praying for material benedictions. We're praying to get out of this material world and be with the Lord all the time, because with the Lord it's singing, dancing, Krishna's smiling. He's with the cowherd boys, and all the cowherd boys are looking at Krishna, sitting together with Krishna in a picnic, just like Prabhupada was missing, feeling that I want to again be with Krishna and the cowherd boys. So we have a place. Doesn't matter how we may feel that we don't have that connection with God. We do have a connection. It's never broken. If we really want to awaken that connection, then we should follow the instructions which are given by the great teachers. And who's the greatest teacher? Krishna and Balaram. Balaram is the original spiritual master. So Lord Nityananda is Balaram, and Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya came singing and dancing the holy name of the Lord. Because the essence of all scripture, you might want to go in a cave and read all the scripture of the world, but the Goswamis, Shri Rupa, Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raghunath, great ministers, fabulously wealthy and eternal associates of the Lord, but they renounced by showing this example. People need examples. Here's a very powerful ministers. They knew so many people and so much wealth and so much opulence, but they became Goswamis, that means controllers of their senses, and lived a very simple lifestyle. And Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya instructed Rupa, Sanatan, and the Goswamis to uncover Vrindavan, Radhakund, Shyamakund, Govardhan, Krishna's Leela pastimes. And these Leela pastimes are attracting now thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people to come and try to understand what is the significance of this, spiritual revolution. Srila Prabhupada, under the guidance of the Goswamis, who scrutinizingly studied all the scriptures. These are very elevated personalities empowered by the Lord, just like the Gospels and the Quran and the Torah. And we have Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Puranas, Ramayana, Mahabharata. These Vedic literatures are meant to entice us or to anticipate being with the Lord coming, just like in Dwarka, they're anticipating the Lord is coming, he's blowing his conch shell, and they're excited, and there's all kinds of festive mood going on, and a reception and dancing and offerings of puja and sacrifice. It's not just simply some dry reception of a political personality coming back to his office. This is the life and soul. The Lord reciprocates with everybody individually. Yeyatamang prapadyate tangstataiva bhajam yaham. And we may think, well, I try to speak to the Lord, but he doesn't speak back. Krishna hears, he hears everything, he sees everything. Krishna is present in every atom. How he cannot see? He sees everything. So our best interest is that to have a steady, simple lifestyle. Srila Prabhupada mentioned, take rest early at night and get up early in the morning, because that Brahma Muhurta, hour and a half before sunrise, is very conducive to spiritual life. And every day, after bathing and using mantras to purify the body, Om Narayana Namaha, Om Madhavaya Namaha, Om Govindaya Namaha. These are names of the Lord. So we're marking the body as the temple of the Lord. And immediately we're chanting, we're going to see the beautiful deities, because the deity worship Pancharatrika Vidhi and Bhagavat Vidhi, Narada Muni, who is the messenger, great preacher of the Lord, he's giving us Pancharatrika Vidhi. There's rules and regulations to be followed, but it's a very joyful process. Raja Vidya, Raja Guyam, Pavitram Idamuttamam. This is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets, the purest knowledge. It awakens spontaneous love. It's the perfection of religion. Religion means to abide by the laws of God. So Chaitanya and Nityananda and the Goswamis have made it very easy for those who want to follow. Yeah, this Shraddha, this faith is very important, because with a little bit of faith, you do sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha means you want to associate with like-minded people. You're not interested in going to the nightclub or going to a political rally or just to discuss katha about, you know, what this person did or that person did, and you know what kind of calamity or disaster we're having, you know, right now in the world. All these things will continue, not that we become totally ignorant, but use our time and our energy to associate with devotees. Means associate with devotees means hearing Leela, hearing about the Lord. What do? We're singing Sangsara Dava Nala Lila Loka. In the morning, we're glorifying the spiritual master who's carrying the message of the Lord to the conditioned souls. This is what Srila Prabhupada is doing. He's given us the pure essence, condensed nectar of the goal of life in such according to time, place, and circumstance. Not that he's created or made up. He's simply delivering the original message of God. He's allowing Krishna to speak. He's not saying surrender just to me, surrender to Krishna. But the bona fide guru, he's putting out this fire. And what is that fire? The fire means birth, old age, disease, and death. We didn't pick who our mother and father is going to be. We didn't pick where we're going to be born or when and how. But all this is happening spontaneously by the Lord, and his servant, Mother Nature, is providing all the ingredients. And although someone may accomplish some things on his bucket list or wish list, you know, I have a beautiful wife, I have beautiful children, beautiful grandchildren, beautiful great-grandchildren, very palatial home, some of the best cars, the best, you know, best of everything. I have everything, I'm happy. This happiness is just a temporary flicker. It's like you're thirsty and you have a crystal clear water, but we have nicely grass nourished by this water, which covers that. But you're thirsty, so you go looking somewhere else for that water in the desert. And you'll not find water in the desert, but it's right here, it's available. The Lord's in our heart. And the message of the Lord is that Harinama, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kaluva, Nasteva, 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 Gatiranyata. This is the Vrindavan atmosphere. The gopis are always remembering Krishna and Krishna's pastimes. Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, when they met Uddhava, who was a cousin of Krishna, Krishna sent Uddhava to Vrindavan to console the gopis and Nanda and Yashoda that they were feeling too much separation. First thing they did is remembered all the beautiful pastimes of Krishna. So if we're spending our time every day, early in the morning, it's good time also to hear the Bhagavatam. I personally like to read out loud in the morning, Bhagavatam, get your day started. Because if you do in a systematic way, by the order of Guru and Krishna, Krishna sees our intention. And we may think that I'm just reading words, but these words are like a cleanse, the Cheto Darpana Marjanam, the cleaning our heart, cleaning our mind. And somehow, with constant practice and detachment, we will achieve a higher attraction for Krishna. When I was younger, I was in Buffalo, New York. I was learning to play drums. So every day I would go for the drum lessons. But now I can play I could talk to you, and I could play drums spontaneously, so to speak. So in the beginning, although the sadhana bhakti may seem regimented, oh, every day I'm chanting 16 rounds, I'm following principles, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling, no meat eating, too many no's. But just like a doctor, he knows our sickness and our ailment. And if we have a little bit of faith and keep good association with sadhu sangha, then anartha nivriti, all those attractions that we have for the enjoyments of this material world, you'll experience a higher taste, param drishtva nivartate, that you'll want to be in the kirtan. Just imagine every morning after Bhagavatam class, we're sitting with the 24-hour kirtan. Krishna and Balarama are there. Lalita Vishaka, Radhashyaama Sundar, Krishna, Gornitai, and you hear the kirtan and everybody singing together, and you see all the visitors coming, becoming animated and enlivened by having a spiritual experience. So this is relishable, have the kirtan, have the Bhagavatam, because we can't buy a moment back, even if we're ready to pay millions and millions of dollars. It's not that we think that, oh, I'll wait till I'm older, then I'll take up spiritual life more seriously. Originally, I came from Europe, came to Buffalo in 1961, little boy, I didn't even speak English. And growing up in Buffalo, I'd see the kirtan party, everyone chanting and dancing with the robes. And I just found it very interesting. I was actually very attracted to it. I liked music, and I loved the way the excitement that was being put forth and the enthusiasm of the devotees that was very capturing, very magical. And so naturally, I wanted to find out more about Krishna and Krishna's devotees. But there are many people, unfortunately, I first started following Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, Transcendental Meditation, reading Bhagavad Gita. And luckily, or by the Lord's arrangement, I met the devotees and I read Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, which was actually very much more illuminating and very much more inspiring, with a purpose and goal of awakening my eternal existence. There's many business opportunities in the world. There's a big, the multi-level marketing ideas of involving so many people and then becoming wealthy very quickly and using natural products. You have a great opportunity, you'll be successful. But everything in this material world, the success is judged on how much money can one make or how much one can accumulate in his so-called possession. At the time of death, it's all taken away. And death can take place at any moment. Padang yadhupadam natesham. There's danger at every step. Young people die. People die in auto accidents, airplane accidents, pandemic accidents. There's all kinds of ways of dying in this material world. People are fearful. The fear factor is there. Because when you're no longer a productive citizen making money, you're just old and invalid, then people want to just put you away somewhere, die peacefully. But there's no dying peacefully. So while we have life and energy, we should broadcast the message of the Lord. Just like Srila Prabhupada. Doesn't matter that he left his country behind. He had heart attacks. He had so many challenges, but he wanted to fulfill the order of his spiritual master in the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj, great devotee of the Lord. The Lord personally appeared to save him. And he said, Prahlad, what do you want? I'll give you whatever you want. He said, no, I only want to help the suffering living beings in this world. So this is the whole purpose of missionary spirit, not that we were looking for followers, but we want to save people from having to suffer repeated birth and being lost in this world for forever, so to speak, for a long, long time. And it makes more and more sense. It's like Krishna entering Dwarka or going to Vrindavan. All the inhabitants are so happy and so enlivened and so ecstatic to see the Lord. So that same excitement can be ignited in us by living temple life. You know, Prabhupada created this International Society for Krishna Consciousness so we can all come together. We can appreciate one another's endeavors and services in Krishna consciousness. We can appreciate all sitting together and chanting enthusiastically the holy name of the Lord and hearing the pastimes of the Lord. This is the purpose of our life, actually. Of course, we are also practical. I was brahmachari for 9 years, meaning that following very strictly, doing all the different rules and regulations and services and studying the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and going out in Sankirtan preaching. And by doing these missionary activities and whoever you meet, tell them about Krishna. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And the best formula is by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And this chanting is a very powerful medicine which will free us from the disease of bodily identification, of not that we forget who we are. We're eternal servants of God. We're eternal servants of the Lord. And as a grihasta, as a brahmachari, the celibate student, grihasta is married. And then towards the end of life, vanaprastha and sannyas, renunciation. But whatever we do, there's one very famous verse, Yat karoshi yat jasnasi yat jahosi dadayasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tad purusho madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever sacrifice you perform, whatever offering you give, do it for the pleasure of the Lord. So even though you have a business, you have different activities which are meant to help you support your family, support your existence while you're practicing Krishna consciousness, there's a balance. And there will come a time after performing your duties nicely in Krishna consciousness that we can focus more of our time and energy for this process of hearing and chanting. This is something that's very much neglected in the material world. People very much get bewildered and distracted because everything is centered around sense gratification. All the billboards, all the TV commercials, and all the different advertisements are simply geared at how you can be the enjoyer. You know, buy this, or you know, do this, and you'll be happy. But that kind of happiness is very temporary. It's really non-existent. And whatever's daytime for devotees is like nighttime for the materialists. And whatever's nighttime for the materialists is our daytime. People go to bed 2 or 3 o'clock. We get up at that time, and we chant the Lord's name. We hear the scripture, and we engage ourselves in positive activities to help us stay strong in our Krishna consciousness. And Vrindavan is very, very attractive for this purpose. Srila Prabhupada wanted to establish the Krishna Balarama Mandir with Gaura Nitai and Radha Shyama Sundar. Very, very beautiful. And the whole atmosphere is surcharged with pilgrims who are doing parikrama, who are eager to come and visit the holy Dham for the benefit of their spiritual upliftment. So we should use that energy in that way and start by reading Bhagavad Gita, because even though we may have read it before, read it with even more interest. It becomes more and more relishable, and you have newer and newer realizations. And the realizations come, it's a mindset that, that I want to develop these godly qualities. I want to better myself as an individual. I want to clearly understand the Lord and his creation and the different incarnations. So much depth of philosophy. Srimad Bhagavatam is laden with prayers. Every canto has some beautiful, not only stories, but instructive lessons with different, we have different scenarios, different entrapments, different, concerns and anxieties in this material world. And the Srimad Bhagavatam is just so transcendental and practical that it gives elaborate explanation with clarification and with realization. And it's like you don't have to think of, well, I don't know what to pray. Listen to what Lord Shiva is praying, what Brahma is praying, what Lord Indra is praying, what all the different devotees throughout the Bhagavatam. They're offering not just simply some flowery words, but all the glorification of the Lord is very meaningful. And it may seem, well, that's very philosophical, it's beyond me. Approach it slowly with interest. And Krishna is the ability in man. It's not that because you don't have a college education or even a high school education, I'm not qualified. It's not based on one's own endeavors of study, and it's based on the Lord revealing, and that revelation comes to one who's approaching with sincerity. Then I didn't give you too much Leela. That Prabhupada Leela is also unlimited. For some reason, I just we need to hear again and again, we're not this material body, we're eternal spirit soul. And that the spirit soul is nourished and fed by following rules and regulations, but chanting the holy name. You chant enthusiastically and you hear enthusiastically. Prabhupada was marked by his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, that he likes to hear. I definitely want to initiate him. So Lord Chaitanya, in his prayers, Nam Nam Akadi Bahudani Jasarva Shaktis, says you have unlimited names and you've invested all your potencies, all your energies, but I am unfortunate because I don't have a taste for that holy name. So even if we don't have a taste for hearing and chanting, or it's a botheration to follow so many rules and regulations, just stay on the boat of Krishna consciousness, never give up your endeavor. And although sometimes, like when we're on Sankirtan, we were out on book distribution, sometimes it becomes very difficult, nobody wants to hear from you. You can't say anything that's appreciated by others. But then I open Prabhupada's book anywhere and read, and it's like Prabhupada gives a message. It's like the clouds disperse, the sun comes shining. Everything you say is very humorous and people laugh and practically they can't say no to you. I've had that experience. I'm not just making that up. It's sometimes if Krishna doesn't give you the power of speech and strength, doesn't matter, by our own endeavor, we're not going to be convinced. But Krishna empowers. Somehow he gives you that special Shakti and that special extra boost of energy, Agyata Sukriti, that you might get a little taste of the ocean of spiritual happiness, and it will shake us. Sometimes we have to be shook up a little bit with very drastic challenges in life, you know, sometimes life-threatening challenges, to awaken our determination and enthusiasm. So whatever stage you find yourself in, it's a good time to chant the name. Whatever stage you find yourself in, it's always good to have a steady habit of hearing. Now Prabhupada's lectures are available everywhere. You play the lectures right when you get up in the morning, or doing this and doing that, getting ready in between. You'll be surprised if you have a steady system. You could hear a lecture, 2 lectures a day, and then reading in the morning, sometimes, you know, the afternoon, kirtan in the morning, kirtan in the evening. Fill your day with spiritual activities, and you'll find the happiness that everyone's looking for. Then you'll feel Krishna coming back to Dwarka, back to Vrindavan. You actually see Krishna as a person, a loving person, our Father. I'm not sure about the time.
Yeah.
I don't have a clock.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Yeah, you almost spend an hour, and
Really?
so normally, yes, Prabhu. So
I'm tired of chastising everyone. Now we need a party.
No. Now it's time for them to ask questions to see whether they understand whatever you have taught. So please, if anybody have any question, please, you can indicate by using the raise hand emoji. Then you can have the opportunity of asking Prabhuji's question, please.
I think they're all convinced.
For many of you who come late, let me quickly introduce Prabhuji. Pancha Gauda Prabhu is the temple president in our very holy temple in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a place of pilgrimage of Krishna himself. So Prabhu is the temple president there, and he has been the temple president for many years there. And Prabhu is a disciple of the founder Acharya, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So we are very fortunate to meet a direct disciple of Prabhupada and hearing from him. So it's an opportunity for us to hear, ask whatever question you want to ask Prabhuji directly. So you can just indicate by raising your hands. I'm sorry, Prabhu, if I'm not be able to get your biography to explain details.
I joined in 1975. I met Prabhupada in 1976 in Washington, D.C. during the bicentennial 200th anniversary of America's independence. We spent a few days with Prabhupada in Washington, D.C. And I was temple president in Miami for 10 years, back in the early 80s, where they finished the translation of Bhagavatam and English, Spanish, Portuguese. And we had a Jadharani art department. We had a beautiful place, New Naimisharanya. Then we had a hotel on the ocean, Govinda Vaikunta building. And I brought my family. We moved to India in 93 with my 2 sons. They went to Gurukul. So I was the vice president from 93 to 2000 in Vrindavan. And then for the last almost 30 years, I've been involved with the project here. Last 12 years, I've been president. But our main appreciation is that Prabhupada established Krishna Balarama Mandir as a place for spiritual rejuvenation and setting the example of ideal deity worship, kirtan, and spiritual enlivenment. There's more to my story, but that's a basic overview. That last 46 years trying to serve the mission of Prabhupada. And we all have our shortcomings, but at the same time, stay with the association of devotees, keep increasing our hearing and chanting. Krishna will guide us within. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Prabhu. We really appreciate to hear this, and we are honored that you bless this our platform. So quickly, Prabhu.
There's a question?
Krishna was born. So he wants to know, was Krishna born? And he has a second question that follow up that. Say, please, my second question.
Say the first question again. You froze for a moment, or I didn't hear it. Say the first.
Yeah. He said that while you were speaking, you mentioned that Krishna has a cousin. So does that mean that Krishna was born at Krishna was born at a point? And the second question is, do demigods have their free will too?
What was the question two?
The second question is, does the demigod have their free will? Do they have their free will too?
Okay. Well, Krishna appeared in the prison house of Devaki and Vasudeva in Mathura, but he appeared also in his four-armed Vishnu form, just to let Vasudeva and Devaki know that this is, you prayed for me for 3 births. So there's a whole history, the Lord's time to appear, and he appeared at that, but he appeared as the son of Vasudeva. So Vasudeva's brother's son Uddhava, they make them cousins. Even Arjuna, many during that time were related in that sense. But Krishna's, it's like when the sun goes down, it doesn't disappear, or when the sun comes up, it doesn't take birth, it appears. So he appeared in the Yadu dynasty. He appeared as Yashoda Nandana, Nandanandana, Devaki Nandana, Vasudeva. So Krishna's appearance and disappearance are transcendental, divya, and only those who are actually, they call it namang duskritino mudha prapajate naradama, those who are not learned or intelligent mistake Krishna as an ordinary human being. Even Brahma, the creator of this universe, the greatest of demigods, one of the greatest, he stole the cowherd boys, and he didn't believe Krishna. How can Krishna be a cowherd boy? Indra also believed, why is this boy convincing them not to worship me? And then he created havoc. So the Lord appears, and the family he appeared in, many of the associates of the Lord come from the spiritual world. The Lord doesn't come alone. Not that only the Lord is transcendental, but also Nityasiddha devotees from the spiritual kingdom. When a great powerful king emperor comes, he comes with ministers, he comes with servants, he comes with soldiers, he comes with various paraphernalia. So the Supreme Lord, he told the demigods, and also from the spiritual world, many associates come. Dwarka, they were eternal associates of the Lord. Some of them are great sages and yogis who have achieved perfection and are engaged in Leela with the Lord. And yes, demigods have independence, like we all have independence. It's not, Krishna is the Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. Krishna is a supreme, eternal, all-knowing, independent personality. So we have that minute independence. And if we utilize that independence, we make the right choice, then we can be again reestablished in our spiritual eternal body, our Satchidananda. It's like every day or every lifetime we're putting a new set of clothes on, a new set of clothes, a new set of clothes, in the sense that we have different identities based upon our karma. But Krishna, he appears and his associates appear. So where he appears, there's relations there. I hope I covered some of that.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, for your nice explanation. And somebody also is writing in the chat room. He said, please, I joined this honorable group not long ago, and I've followed the leader for a few months. So when he's talking about the leader, he's talking about His Grace Ganesh Chakshi Prabhu. Actually, many of the people who are here, who are new, they are new to Krishna consciousness. They are follower of His Grace Ganesh Chakshi Prabhu. Prabhuji is here also. So he has brought them so that they can hear Krishna Katha, so that they can understand more about Krishna. So gradually, sometime he tried to cultivate them in this way. So that's why I was telling you, they are new, and they may have to ask so many questions. So So somebody is asking, somebody is saying that I followed leader for a few months now, and I'm convinced of this teaching. My question is, how do I gain favor? Because anywhere I go, I feel people speak on me for the reason being known to them. Please, any direction for me to help resolve this problem, please. Yeah. It's a personal question.
Yeah. See, the thing is, if you're associating, and like say you're going to a preaching center and or temple, you get to know who the devotees are by being there with you know, and you said you're following for some time now. Just keep following, and with friendship, they'll naturally engage you. Like in Vrindavan, I have 40 departments. We have like 500 people working for the temple, but we have at least like 150 to 180 full-time resident devotees and probably 500, 600, 1,000 congregation devotees. And many people are looking for service, and how do I engage in service? What do I do? What do I do? But if you're coming regularly and you're chanting with the devotees, and you'll see some basic services, whether it's serving prasadam, whether it's some basic cleaning, and as you cultivate relationship, didati pratibhinati guya makyati prishchati, that naturally you take prasad together, you hear together, you chant together, and then according to your ability and your background, generally a more seasoned or experienced devotee will figure out ways of engaging you most suitable. But most suitable is preaching, meaning that the more you hear, then very simple. You know, give Bhagavad Gita. Sankirtan is very, very important. But I'd say you associate with the devotees, then all your anarthas and those things which are maybe holding us back from more enthusiastically surrendering will be eliminated. And then you'll establish a relationship, a bonding between others. And generally one who's very, very sincere and enthusiastic, you want to engage them. Sometimes people, you know, are not that enthusiastic. Then if someone is not expressing their desire for service in an enthusiastic way, then you may not engage that person as much. So be enthusiastic, get to know everybody, and you'll find some nice services, the simple services. It says whether you're cleaning the floor of the temple, if you're washing the dishes, you're dusting, chant the holy name and do that service nicely. And Krishna will reveal further and further ways for you to be engaged.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. So is Grace Ganga Prashad Prabhu and Sisa Prabhu, please unmute yourself.
Jai Ganga Prashad Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Pancha Gauda Prabhu. It's a great delight to have you today. Thank you very much for honoring the invitation. My question is from the translation. In the translation, it mentions that the citizens of Dwarka, having heard the sound, began to run towards him fast, just to have a desired audience with the Lord. They ran towards him fast. So I just want you to shed little light in this very sense. How does this apply to us? How do we become attracted, that we move fast towards God to be able to achieve our long desired audience, having been entrapped in this material world for millions and millions of lifetimes? Considering the pressure of hard struggle to survive, we are struggling hard to survive, and that entangles us. But how do we emulate from these citizens of Dwarka to leave everything, or while doing everything, run fast towards the Lord, expressing that we have been missing him?
Yeah, this is a very good question. Just like Srila Prabhupada, when with some of his friends and associates. Yes, Prabhupada, Prabhupada, your preaching is good, your mission is good. Prabhupada said, well, give me one of your sons, and I'll train him to be a brahmana. I'll train him to be a devotee. But see, the family attachment is very, very strong. And it's not that we're against family attachment, because hopefully the whole family will be Krishna conscious. But to have that feeling of full surrender, and just like the gopis, they didn't care about the fact when Krishna was playing his flute and Krishna's beauty was there. Doesn't matter whether they were home cooking or doing household chores or taking care of the baby, this or that. They immediately ran to be with Krishna. So that may seem irresponsible, maybe even immoral. Some people may have this idea that why is Krishna doing like that? All his activities are very mysterious, but it all very much can be explained and are explained by the great acharyas. So you have to be very fortunate to have that kind of special blessing, that you make that determination that, yes, I'm going to. I've seen some people that said, okay, I've been busy. I'm going to take a VIHE course on, studying the Bhagavatam, the nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction. Just spend a little time to give yourself a boost in your Krishna consciousness. I don't know exactly, depending on your circumstances, maybe you have family responsibilities and responsibilities for children and wife and grandparents or parents and other financial responsibilities. So that has to be done very carefully, juggled in one sense. But depending, just like Srila Prabhupada, he had the message from his guru in 1922, but for many years he tried to establish his business, take care of his family, but always meditating on how to carry out the message, how to carry out the mission of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. So whatever condition we find ourselves in, whether we're fully surrendered, semi-surrendered, we don't know, and due to circumstances of family commitment and other responsibilities, we may not be able to fully surrender. But if we have that desire and we're following the program of reading, associating with devotees, and chanting the holy name, then Krishna will give revelation inside the heart and also through the guru externally by the guru's instructions. And gurus many, not just your initiating gurus, many shiksha gurus, parivrajaka, like anyone who introduces you to Krishna consciousness is also guru. All of you can become guru by repeating the words of Bhagavad Gita and Krishna. But I would say continue following the process, keep taking your medicine, avoid those things which cause for you to be in a diseased condition of life, and then you'll regain your strength and your ability to fight the disease of the mind, the laziness, or whatever it might be. And Krishna will open the doors and open the avenues for further and further progress. I hope I captured your question. I wasn't.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, we still have some question in the chat room. Somebody is asking, what is incarnation or prayer one should do when wake up from bed apart from chanting Hare Krishna's name?
What is an incarnation?
Yeah, he's asking what is incarnation, or another question is prayer one should do when one wake up from bed apart from chanting Hare Krishna's name.
I see. Incarnation, we heard the word avatar, is when from the Lord or his devotees descend from the spiritual world to this material world. And material world consists of unlimited universes. This is our particular universe and our particular planet and our particular bodily encagement. We have our, here we are on planet Earth, 2021, encaged in our particular bodies. So the incarnations are the descent of the Lord from the spiritual world to save the conditioned souls. Repeatedly. It's not that Krishna just created the material world and manifested all of us in the material existence and left us here. Krishna personally comes into each universe. He expands himself into every atom, into every living being, and he's guiding. Nothing can exist without Krishna's sanction. There's earth, water, fire, air, mind, intelligence, ego. Everything that makes up anything is coming from Krishna, and Krishna's providing that so that we can express our independence. We're expressing our independence, so we came to this material world. But now we're hearing from Krishna that no, don't stay here. Go back home, back to the spiritual world. Enough suffering in this world. There's a way of going home. So in the morning time, if you're determined to get up at a certain time because you want to be there for the Lord, to greet the Lord for the Mangal Arati. So obviously take your bath, you chant the Tilak mantras, thinking about it. Also, you're immediately chanting Hare Krishna on your way too, and then you're singing with all the devotees, glorifying the Lord. The process that Prabhupada's given us is a very wonderful and it's called the fast track. When I was in Washington, D.C., 1976, July 4th, a friend of mine asked Prabhupada about, this yoga and that yoga, about transcendental meditation. And Prabhupada explained Krishna consciousness is like you go into the lift and immediately takes you to the top. If you have to go 100 floors step by step by step, by the time you get to the top, the day is finished and all the activities are finished. It's just a roundabout way. There's many ways. People say, well, there's many ways of God consciousness. But this process, which is given by Prabhupada, which is a reflection of Rupa Goswami, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udara Pasta Vegam, the controlling the mind, controlling the tongue, controlling the belly, controlling the genitals, Utsahan Nishchayat Daryat Tat Tat Karma Pavartanat, enthusiasm, determination, patience. So all these are preliminary prerequisites, and by hearing them and acting in that capacity with enthusiasm and determination and patience and following the order of the spiritual master, it's like following the doctor's instructions and taking your medicine, you're going to get healthy. You're going to get back on your feet, your spiritual feet, and you'll feel strength and rejuvenation, and your clarity of your destination will be focused. Devotees are fixed in their determination. They know by chanting Krishna's name, calling out with heartfelt prayer, and by hearing about Krishna in the association of devotees and rendering service to the devotees and the Lord, then your path of liberation is guaranteed. Just got to avoid the stumbling blocks in this material world, and that comes about by associating with devotees and taking guidance from the Lord in the heart. Sorry for a long explanation.
It's okay, Prabhu. So we still have some more questions in the chat room. Somebody is asking, do you have a temple in Hamburg, Germany? And the other person is asking, how can I serve Krishna or Master so that he can please with me?
Well, there's a list of all the temples in Back to Godhead on the internet. You can find all the list of all the temples. I'm not really sure if that specific temple in Germany is available. And Prabhupada, he's available in his words, just by reading the Bhagavad Gita with faith, by reading the Bhagavad Gita with faith and looking for the association of devotees, then you're establishing a relationship with your spiritual master. See, because spiritual master is one. It's not like a personality cult. Every spiritual master is repeating the words of Krishna, but Srila Prabhupada is the Acharya for the next 10,000 years of Lord Chaitanya's mission. So every guru, every spiritual master is leading everyone to Prabhupada, because Prabhupada these are spiritual ecstasies, these translations of the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. No human being who has imperfect senses, tendency to the illusion, sure to commit mistakes, and a cheating propensity. These are 4 frailties that human beings have, that they cannot give you absolute truth. But a pure devotee is free of those defects. And so by reading Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita in an open mind with a desire to learn and serve, it says, inquire submissively and render service. If we're inquiring submissively means hearing about Krishna and chanting Krishna, then more details will be revealed as our surrender process happens. And your guru is Prabhupada, but also there's representatives of Prabhupada who are also become your guru. We don't, this is a little finer understanding of who is your guru. Krishna is your guru in the heart. Externally, the representative will be there as well. Obviously, Srila Prabhupada's representatives who are speaking like Prabhupada spoke and directing to read Prabhupada's books, and then we're checking Sadhu Shastra Guru. The scripture is there, the guru is there, and the advice of the senior spiritualists are giving us guidance.
Yes, Prabhu. We see, I say my humble obeisances to you. Is there any specific process of controlling your mind by sitting quiet meditation and trying to look into yourself to achieve spiritual uplifting? Somebody is asking.
See, Arjuna complained to Krishna that the mind is very much disturbing. It's like trying to control a raging wind. I lived in Miami, Florida. We used to have a lot of hurricanes there during hurricane season. You cannot control the raging wind. So the mind and senses are very turbulent and difficult to control, especially lust, anger, greed. These are material, because our love for Krishna is very intense, but when it becomes muddied by the material existence, then that pure love is transformed into something different, like an uncontrolled mind and senses. So if you're following the order of the guru, by sitting alone and just chanting, then the mind will simply dwell on money and sense enjoyment. So we need to stay busy in preaching Krishna consciousness. Unless one is a very elevated platform, he can sit in solitude and chant Omkara or the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to control and pacify the mind. But we're engaging the uncontrolled mind in positive activities of service. This is why we're given deity worship, we're cleansing the temple, we're printing books, we're preaching Krishna consciousness, because all these activities are a way to engage the senses, engage the mind, engage the intelligence in the mission of the Lord, and it's also a purifying process. So Srila Prabhupada said, work now, samadhi later, meaning that be enthusiastic to help spread Lord Chaitanya's mission, assist Srila Prabhupada in the mission of saving the conditioned souls. Then you can control the mind and senses. But it's Krishna agreed with Arjuna. He said, yes, with constant practice and detachment, we can learn to control the mind. But the constant practice means doing the deity worship, doing the chanting and the preaching of Krishna consciousness. It's all one big transcendental package.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. So we have one more last question. Sorry for keeping you so long. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Somebody already posted a new one. Someone is saying, Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please, according to Christianity, there was a war in heaven. I want to know if really there was war in heaven and what caused it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a, in our terminology, there's a spiritual world called Vaikuntha, the spiritual world. And the Vaikuntha is consisting of unlimited planets, of unlimited living beings. In a very small portion of that Vaikuntha is called the Mahat Tattva, where the Lord creates the material world. And within this material world, the Lord has created the heavenly planets, the middle planets, and the hellish planets. And although there are godly persons, they're also non-different than you and I, but they have higher responsibilities, bodies that last hundreds of thousands of years, millions of years, and they're living in an opulence like heaven, and in that sense. But there's also demonic forces, and there's often battles between the gods and the demons. But no one is challenged to the supreme personality of Godhead. These are just the theatrical activities, like on a stage, because whether one is a demigod, he can also go to the lower planetary systems. It's called Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhaktilata Beach. We're wandering from the highest planet down to the lowest planet. And there's all kinds of battles described within the Srimad Bhagavatam of Indra, the king of heaven, and the battles that took place in the heavenly planets. And we have no clue what goes on in the spiritual kingdom or in the heavens like that. So the stories in the Bible and the various religious scriptures, they're very much true and accurate. But our whole philosophy of Krishna consciousness is that we don't want to go to the heaven or stay in the earthly planets or the hellish planets. We want to go to the spiritual kingdom beyond the heaven. That's a misunderstanding, thinking that heaven is a final destination. Maybe the heaven is referring to God's kingdom in the spiritual world. But within this universe, there are heavenly planets, there are demigods, and there are hellish planets. But and the battles do take place. You can read about them in the scripture. Just like there's battles on this planet Earth between nation and nation, and there's one World War I, World War II, World War III, all these different conflicts and battles on a local level, but on a higher interplanetary level, there's also battles between more powerful beings that you can look at more closely into reading the 5th canto and the different histories in the Srimad Bhagavatam are there.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you very much. The last question is, same person is asking, his name is God Spirit. It says, in the Bible, the God of Israel command King Saul to kill all Amalekites. My question is the Supreme Lord Krishna the same, the Lord of Israel at the time? If yes, why did he do that?
Mm-hmm. It's difficult to understand the transcendental activities of the Lord. The Lord has many names, like in India, they call the sun Surya. I'm from Macedonia, we say Sonse. In America, Sun. So God has many names, unlimited names. Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah, Krishna. So we think, well, my God and your God. God is one. He's not a Hindu God or Muslim God or Israel God or Christian God, Jewish God. God is the supreme father of everyone. And according to time, place, and circumstance, there's different realizations and different beliefs and understandings of God. So Srimad Bhagavatam has been recognized as, from the oldest Sanskrit teachings, as the most authentic teachings given by God himself in the form of Vyasadeva. So we're not contesting the histories of Bible, Quran, or Israel, or this religion or that religion. Real religion means how to develop our love for God, and whether in the history of the Israeli teaching, God did something that's not adjustable, or well, why would he do that? People say, well, why did Krishna encourage Arjuna to fight the battle of Kurukshetra where millions of people died? There's a history behind everything, and there's a reason for reestablishing religious principles and for protecting his devotees. The intricacies we have to look at, and they can be explained. Everything has a good purpose and reason behind it. We may not know why Krishna acted the way he acted, but as we mature, just like a small child may not understand the process of birth but as one matures and comes in proper, suitable understanding, like I never understood why Narada Muni told Kamsa that, Krishna's already born and Vasudeva tricked you and brought him to Nanda and Yashoda from Mathura to Vrindavan, and all the demigods have taken birth in the Yadu family. And in this way, Kamsa started killing everybody. You think, well, why would he do that? He's a devotee. But everything has its reason, logic behind it. If you utilize your logic and reason, and you hear submissively and attentively with a service attitude, then the realizations will come to you. But if one is a doubting or challenging mentality, then it's very, very difficult to understand the subtleties of God, his incarnation, his activities, and the activities of his devotees, and this whole attempt to bring us all back home to the spiritual kingdom. But God is all good. He loves everyone. He's equal to everyone. But we create our own situations due to misuse of our independence.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. We really appreciate your time and your patience in answering all these questions. So we look forward to, get your darshan again on this our platform. And then maybe that time we'll bring more devotees so that you can discuss more devotees who understand Krishna Lila, so that you can, there may not be many as this, but then you can discuss more intimate pastime the way you want to.
I wasn't sure exactly which way to go, but pastimes are relishable. Srila Prabhupada would often, almost always, also let us understand we're not this body, we're eternal spirit, soul. When this body is finished, the soul continues. So you should engage in spiritual activities, which is Krishna consciousness, by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Believe in the mantra. It's powerful.
Yes. So yes, Prabhu. So we want to thank you, and we want all the devotees on this platform, please. You can humbly unmute yourself and let us chant one Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to appreciate Pancha Gauda Prabhu for his
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare
Rama, Hare
Srila
Prabhupada ki.
Thank you.
Prabhu, you're saying something?
I said, when you're all allowed, you should all come to Vrindavan. We'll all spend some time doing kirtan together.
Yes, I want to use this opportunity to introduce Ganesh Prabhu, although he's driving now. So maybe one day he can bring all these disciples to Vrindavan to take darshan of Krishna. Ganesh Prabhu, are you there?
Yes, Prabhu, actually we have some plan like that. We want to go there for doing one of the parikramas. I will make arrangement, at least 50 to 100 of my members will come to Vrindavan and stay for some days. We're making an arrangement, Prabhu.
So make sure you spend a few days in Krishna Balarama Mandir with the 24-hour kirtan, just sitting and chanting with the devotees. Parikramas are nice, but sometimes devotees have such short time. They go here, go there, do this, do that. That's okay.
Yes,
but spend
yes,
time spend some time with Krishna Balarama and Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada's there, Krishna Balarama is there, the holy name is there, so that's important. Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhu, I'll come over. Hopefully, I'll be in Mayapur next week. So I'm thinking of coming to Vrindavan as well. So, Prabhu, if I'm able to make it, please, I'll introduce myself.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.